He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Te hewa mauri ora ki te whaiau ki te o marama. Kia ora and welcome back to this Mapuna podcast. The program of Mapuna this week celebrates 20 years of the Māori Television Service, now called Whakaata Māori. On the 28th of March 2004, Māori Television was launched to the world. I remember it well. I was there, hosting the live broadcast of the opening of Whakaata Māori. And I remember many of the luminaries of Māoridom there on that day, including Te Riki Nui Te Atairangi Kahu, including Te Aotearoa Kara, her renowned orator, the Minister of Māori Affairs at that time, Parekura Horomia, the Chair of Te Tautawhiti Te Reo Māori, my uncle, Dr. Patu Hohepa, the Kaumātua of Ngāti Whātua, Takutai Wikiriwhi, Kaumātua of Waikato Tainui, Eru Thompson, and Warena Taua, and, of course, the Kaumātua, the elder of Māori broadcasting, Dr. Huirangi Waikereupuru. Many of them have passed on. In fact, only Warena Taua remains from that group of people. And there were so many others there at Newmarket, Upmarket, Auckland, were there for the opening of Whakaata Māori. So it is with that spirit in mind, it's in that vein that we invited two very special guests to be a part of our broadcast for Mapuna this week. They include the current CEO of Whakaata Māori, Shane Taurima, and Ngātapa Black, who was the person to flick the switch which sent the first bit of content of Whakaata Māori, Māori Television, out on its platform to the world. Ngātapa and Shane recollect and remember their personal experiences over 20 years of Māori television, and also talk about some of the challenges and opportunities that exist for the next 20 years of Whakaata Māori. So have a listen. This is Mapuna, our podcast for our Māori Television 20th anniversary episode, celebrating 20 years of Whakaata Māori with Shane Taurima and Ngātapa Black. Kia whakarongo ake, tātou katoa. You're listening to the Dawn Ceremony from the 28th of March 2004, the launch of the then Māori Television Service, now Whakaata Māori, the karanga from Ngāti Whātua to Te Riki Nui Te Atairangi Kahu, who at that time had beside her Eru Thompson, Te Aotearoa Kara, beside them Te Warena Taua, the Minister for Māori Affairs, Māori Development, Parekura Horomia, the Chair of Te Tautawhiti Te Reo Māori, Dr. Patu Hohepa, and the Kaumātua of Māori Broadcasting and of Māori Television at that time, Dr. Huirangi Waikereupuru. E ngai iwi o te motu tēnā koutou katoa me ngā mihi ki o tātou tini mate, ki o tātou tini aitua, huri tū mai ki a tātou kei te o marama. Kia ora. Good afternoon and welcome back to Mapuna, this special edition of our program today as we look back at those first 20 years of Māori Television, now Whakaata Māori. I'm joined in the studio here in Wellington by Whakaata Māori in Auckland, aroha mai, by Whakaata Māori CEO Shane Taurima. Kara Shane, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Julian.
And in Te Whanganui a Tara, working for Whakaata Māori today at the Kapahaka Regionals competition in Wellington is Ngātapa Black. Ngātapa, tēnā koe.
Oh, kia ora, kia kōrua.
Tēnā koe.
Working and also doing an interview, ngā tapa, multi-skilled, like every staff member kaimahi of Whakaata Māori. Tēnā kōrua. It's really awesome to have you both with me today. Now, ngā tapa was a young production assistant back in 2004, who then went on to do, quote, a gazillion different jobs, end quote, at Māori Television Whakaata Māori. Nowadays, Whakaata Māori is an established and popular part of Aotearoa's media landscape. But it's worth remembering that the legislation to create it in 2003 was passed by a small margin, and some conservative politicians branded it as, quote, racist, end quote, and that it would be, quote, held up to public ridicule, end quote. But Whakaata Māori quickly gained a foothold among Māori and non-Māori viewers that has grown tremendously. With March 28th just round the corner, we're looking back. But we're also looking into the future with Shane Taurima, he uri no rongo mai Ngāti Kahungunu, and a Ngātapa Black, he uri no tūhoi te whanua panui e Ngāti Tūwharetoa. Shane, if I can start with you, what does it mean to you, to the kaimahi of Whakaata Māori, to reach this milestone of 20 years of service?
You know, as we listen to the karanga being given earlier on, as well as you reading out the list of rangatira that were part of such a momentous time in our history, I feel quite sad actually, because many of them, if not all of them, that you've just mentioned have passed on. Now, of course, they were part of a movement, a language revitalisation movement that struggled, that fought for Māori to have the right, to have their own waka and to be able to tell their own stories in their language and in their ways. But I also feel so proud because you mentioned some of the challenges with the legislation when it was first being debated in Parliament, and the scrutiny that Whakaata Māori also came under shortly after its launch. Well, actually before its launch and for some time after its launch. And yet we're still here today. And I think Whakaata Māori, humbly saying, has done a fantastic job in why it was set up and what it does today, but also what it plans to do moving forward. The other thing, Jules, is, you know, this isn't just about Whakaata Māori. As I said, we're part of a much bigger movement. We have a larger whakapapa, a whakapapa that talks about a movement, that supports a movement, that supports language revitalisation. So this is not only an opportunity for Whakaata Māori to celebrate 20 years, but also for the movement to reflect, to celebrate, and to also think about what lies ahead in the future.
Ngā tapa, 20 years. I don't know about you, but it makes me feel old. Shane might feel the same way. I'm not sure. But what do you think about now, just under a week away from the 20th anniversary on the 28th of March? What does it make you feel? What do you think about it now?
Oh, I think I'm just very proud to be a part of it, and I'm sure those who are actually still working there and have been since the beginning, and of course those who used to work there, we're all very proud to be a part of this beautiful kaupapa. That's pretty much it really, and we're just going through the motions. I think now, because as you mentioned, I started when I was a production assistant. Well, it's beautiful that I've got my kōtiro there now, and she's a content creator and very fresh and making rangatahi content. So it's quite neat to see our whakapapa kind of go through television as well. Kei kona hoki tōku whaia. Yeah. So we've got 3 generations there currently.
Yeah, the phrase apples don't fall far from trees comes to mind. Ngā tapa, she sings, she's doing content, awfully reflective of the mother.
They have no choice.
And Shane, I think it also says a lot that, you know, someone who has been an integral part of the history of Whakaata Māori is working at the same time as doing an interview about the 20th anniversary, which talks about the commitment of kaimahi, Shane, about the commitment of the kaimahi of Whakaata Māori.
Ngā Tapa was actually, as I understand it, the kaimahi at the time that flicked the switch, that put Whakaata Māori to air. And as she's just shared, we're talking about 3 different generations supporting and still working at Whakaata Māori. Ngā Tapa's mum is at Whakaata Māori in subtitling. Ngā Tapa is our head of content creation. And of course, Mare Kura, her daughter, is also involved in our rangatahi content creation team. So when we talk about whakapapa, it's not just the place in which Whakaata Māori sits within Māori language revitalisation, but also the hundreds, or literally thousands of people that have been supported by Whakaata Māori and continue to be supported by Whakaata Māori today as media and creative professionals.
Shane's just reminded me, Ngā Tapa, of that fact. Because that's right, hey? You were the first to flick the switch. I think it was between you and Bruce and Ruth. Is that right?
I basically, we were down at the bottom of the basement at TVNZ, and I just tagged along for the ride. But, it's a classic start for a joke. There was a Samoan lady and a Pākehā guy, and then they looked at me and said, hey, you're the Māori, you push the button. Yeah. That's how it happened. But as soon as we come back, I think then we were not in Newmarket. We were up on the other, the first building that we had. And we walked up there, walked past Joanna Paul and all of them, and just everybody on our level started, screaming and clapping. And so it was a huge celebration just to get to that point. And all it was really was a whole lot of promos, and show reels of all the programs that we had coming up. So, there was so much mahi that went through just to get us to the 28th of March. And you took the glory with your presenting.
Did you say took the glory? Did you say took the glory, eh? I thought it was hard work. Was the building at that stage, Ngā Tapa, was that the one at Parnell?
At Morgan?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the street.
Yeah. Wow. I think you had the Minister of Māori Development, Shane, at Whakaata Māori yesterday. What was he saying to you, to the kaimahi?
It was great that the Minister, Tama Pōtaka, was available to come and support actually quite a significant event for us because we're celebrating 20 years, but also acknowledging some of our very first kaimahi who have served 20 years. And so we wanted to host a special event in which we could acknowledge their long service, and who else but better than the Minister himself, who's responsible, one of the shareholding ministers responsible for Whakaata Māori, to come along and to support the event. The Minister is very supportive. He was actually, a key advisor to Whakaata Māori much earlier in its history. And so he spoke about that. He spoke about the work that we do, the iconic programs that we have put to air, but also the shift that we're making to digital, which he is very supportive of. And, he's got, quite a few responsibilities. He's got a lot of work ahead of himself, but certainly Māori language is very dear to him. The revitalisation, the range of kaupapa that there are, including Whakaata Māori. So we continue to work alongside the Minister and his officials to help support that shift.
I want to see if I get this right. How many foundation members are still there now is there 8?
So 10.
10, oh geez.
So
okay.
10, we
I only came up with 7.
10 yesterday, and they hold a range of different positions from technology, IT, engineering, right throughout, including content creation as well. So 10 we acknowledged yesterday.
Gee, I only come up with Ethan, Hoani, Stephen Guyan, Amos, Linda, Diana Lau.
Hi.
I've missed a couple. Who have I missed? Ngā Tapa?
Greg.
Jimmy.
Oh, Greg, yeah.
Greg, Jimmy.
Greg, yeah.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, yeah.
I think that's a team, yeah.
Oh, well, I failed that miserably.
Linda, you had Linda?
I got Linda,
Yeah.
I got Linda, yeah. Wow. See, that says a lot too, though, eh, Shane? That those people, actually many of whom didn't have the realm, but have also gone on their own real journey as a part of their mahi of Whakaata Māori. I mean, I look at Ethan, who came in as a very young camera person, not a lot of reo. Every Facebook post in the reo nowadays. That says a lot too about the passion for the kaupapa.
I think, did you say Miriama? I think she's the
Miriama, yeah.
Miri. It does. It speaks volumes, I think, because, workplaces are often described as whānau or as communities in which people come together. Whakaata Māori really is that, in its true essence. And I think that is demonstrated by the fact that we have so many long-serving staff. And yesterday we celebrated 20. We have a number of other staff, 19, right through to 5 years that we're celebrating at the moment because they love the kaupapa. They're proud to be part of the kaupapa. And I dare say they'll be celebrating, some of them potentially, 40 years, when we reach that milestone. But, the success of Whakaata Māori has been because of the people it has had. The creatives, the media professionals, the journalists, those working in front and behind of the cameras. They are the reason why, a key reason why Whakaata Māori still exists today and defied all odds, and spoke to the critics of the time and continue to work really hard to make Whakaata Māori the success it has been and will continue to be.
Ngā tapa, what was that like at the time when there was that huge criticism? I remember people like Don Brash, the leader of the opposition at the time, saying that this was a waste of money and they should take all the money for Whakaata Māori and put it into books for Māori kids who can't read at school. What was it like as a kaimahi in those days, hearing constantly that public kind of ridicule for this idea of a Māori television service?
Yeah, I guess in all true Māori style, we just love a good challenge. So, when that was happening, it just made us a lot more passionate to do what we wanted to do and to continue on with the job. Fortunately, we didn't have to worry too much about the politics. Our mahi was just to get down and get those pictures up and get all our beautiful faces and tō tātou reo out there into all the screens and ki nā kaina katoa. Ai.
Ngā tapa, was it fun? I mean, Shane and I were too busy being serious journalists and, I was at church, so I wouldn't know about the activities that staff members got up to, but was it fun?
It was. We were such a whānau, and like you said before, all the kōrero that used to come to us, it just kind of made us a lot stronger as well. We pretty much lived and breathed Whakaata Māori and making programs and content and travelling. So I know lots of people would have found it hard on their whānau as well because we were so dedicated to it, and we just had to, there was no choice in the matter. It had to succeed and we had to do this. So we had a lot of fun. We worked around the clock and then, very tiring as well. But, the koina te kaupapa.
And what was the first program you were involved in again, ngā tapa?
Oh, I think it was Homai Te Pakipaki was the first one. Which,
wow, what a start, eh? What a show! First show to be involved in. Wow.
That guy, Larry Parr, and his idea, and it came around and they said, oh, look, we've got this show. It's going to be a karaoke competition. And we thought, what the hell is he thinking? And, man, as soon as we started doing it, it just, people were lining up every Friday, just blocking the roads at Newmarket, trying to get their shot to be on Homai Te Pakipaki. So very fun. Yeah.
And it's coming back, Shane. It's coming back.
It is. Homai Te Pakipaki is one of many iconic shows that Whakaata Māori has broadcast, and it is coming back next Wednesday. The team are reuniting, and we're really looking forward to it, actually. That and Code the following night, another iconic show that is synonymous with Whakaata Māori. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
Why were those shows so successful, do you think? Because even now, where was I? I was in Aussie at something and I saw this mean Māori mean sign. I mean, I don't get it because the show Code, yes, it's coming back. on the 28th itself. But the show's been gone for a long time. And even Homaita Pakipaki, you go to a karaoke place nowadays, and if there's a Māori there, they'll go, oh, Homaita Pakipaki. Why have those shows in particular, and many other parts of Whakaata Māori, been so ingrained, do you think, in the consciousness of New Zealanders, in particular Māori?
Because I think these are programs that are truly Māori at its heart, at its core essence. They celebrate who we are as a people, as a culture, and the diversity that exists within our communities as well. And, these are two programs, and there were many others, that provided us with the opportunity to celebrate everything that is great about us. And when you think about, the whakapapa again, one of the key reasons why Whakaata Māori came about, and because our tipuna fought so hard for us to have this platform, was because our stories were told by others, because the stories weren't the way in which we would tell our stories. And we're often stereotyped, negative. And I suppose this is at the heart of the success of Whakaata Māori, us as Māori being able to tell our own stories and reflect the way in which we live, the way in which we think, the way in which we engage with each other, our humour, our mātauranga. And I think that, to answer your question, Jules, is the success that lay behind many of the Whakaata Māori programs, because we were authentic and we were authentically ourselves.
And that continues to today, and I do want to talk about some of the challenges that Whakaata Māori, we know there are challenges in the media landscape in New Zealand, and I guess some might say that those challenges have always been in front of Whakaata Māori. It's always had challenges all the way through the last 20 years, and I do want to get into those. But before I do, Ngā Tapa, was it hard? Was it tough working at Whakaata Māori? Resource has always been an issue, some say, Ngā Tapa?
Yep. Yeah. I guess it just helped us to be a lot more creative with how we could tell stories with very little pūtea. We talk about how, other networks had a lot more than what we did, but we worked around it. And I think the calibre of program was still up there, and that sat beside any other network, both nationally and internationally. We had our promos departments. They're still winning awards internationally as well. So difficult. We wore many hats. And 1 minute you're out making a cup of tea, then you're jumping in the front of the camera, doing your thing, and then you're off going to do sound somewhere else, and you're organising another shoot. We're very resilient and very creative, is all I can say.
Very good at multitasking.
Multitasking, yeah.
As we're doing right now.
and you forgot singing with Dave Dobbins sometimes, Ngā Tapa.
Oh, yes, that was definitely a highlight.
And working with Mum. It must be interesting working with Mum, or knowing Mum's in the building, eh? I don't know if I could do that.
Oh, it's awesome. Super hard though, because you're trying to eat healthy, and then Mum will come over with the cakes and the cup of teas every 5 minutes. The te aki au, and I'm like, Jesus, ko pake ke kia hau, and she's still coming around. So I look at all our poor mahi and be like, damn, I wish my mother was here to look after me. So wai maria katoa hau, yeah, got the mum there.
You're listening to RNZ National. It's 27 minutes to 1. We have the CEO of Whakaata Māori, Shane Taurima, with us. And one of the extraordinary kaimahi of Whakaata Māori, the staff member who hit play, who flicked the switch to bring Māori of television then, now Whakaata Māori, to life all those years ago. It celebrates its 20th anniversary on the 28th of March in 1 week, just under 1 week's time. From now. If you've got feedback, please send it through to us. We're happy to take feedback. Or even if you've got questions for Ngā Tapa, like, who was her favourite host, or, just anything, anything inane like that, we welcome it all. Shane, I mentioned very briefly challenges. We are aware of the current landscape for media in Aotearoa at the moment, and as we said, Whakaata Māori's always had challenges. What are the unique and peculiarly specific challenges in front of Whakaata Māori that it faces now?
Unique is an interesting word, Julian, because I think given what's happening in other media networks, the challenges aren't too dissimilar, actually, that we face at Whakaata Māori. And while we rely primarily on public funding, on government funding, there is a big question over that at the moment in terms of what that may look like moving forward. And what I mean there is that there is just over $50 million that is at risk of being lost from the sector over the next 3 years. So this is time-locked funding that was given to the sector to support Māori language media by the previous government. And we're aware and concerned at the prospect of losing that level of funding. And there's a big chunk of that funding that Whakaata Māori has received in the last couple of years. Whakaata Māori didn't receive any new funding from 2008 to 2022. So 14 to 15 years of static funding has made things difficult and challenging. But, you know, like Ngā Tapa has said, we've still continued to do the mahi and to, you know, really do things well, I have to say. So funding, resourcing is one of those big challenges that we're facing. It was good to hear the Minister yesterday commit to working with us through these challenges. And the other thing is too, look, last year the review of the Māori media sector was reported on. This was a just over 4-year-long review, a review undertaken by 2 different ministers and 2 different advisory panels. I think, Jules, you were on one of them. And so a lot of work has been done to interrogate the sector and to understand what the challenges are, but also the review came up with a number of solutions. And we're really keen on this new government reviewing that review and picking up on some of the recommendations that have been made. If I can just, you know, give you one example, the review pointed out, so when it comes to content funding, non-Māori, on average, programs for non-Māori or made by non-Māori would receive $70. Māori-made programs would receive $30. You know, that's one of the key concerns we have and have had for some time now, the inequity that exists. So that is just one area that we're really hopeful that the government will consider and address to help shift things forward. As we know, Whakaata Māori was established at a time when Facebook was just beginning. Social media wasn't really a thing. Digital wasn't really a thing. We now live in digital. Our demographics are moving even faster than anyone else to digital platforms. So we need to make sure that we are there also. And we are there, like even our Māori Plus app. 144,000 people get Māori content using our Māori Plus app every day. That's significant. But, you know, there are things that we need to do, and we would really appreciate the resource and investment to be able to get on and do that.
Yeah. And as you say, it is a completely different game now from when Whakaata Māori first launched on the 28th of March in 2004. And one of the things that comes to mind is, will there be, and this is a hard question to ask, I know, but will there be a time at which do you think big channels, big platforms like Whakaata Māori, TVNZ, basically linear platform broadcasting, audiences on linear is decreasing day by day massively in some instances. Do you think there's a time at which soon we will switch off those linear platforms simply because they don't have audience?
Yeah, of course.
How far away do you think that is, Shane?
Yeah, if I had that, the answer to that question, I think I'd be employed or engaged by some of the other networks.
Yeah.
But the reality is that we are all facing the same questions and challenges.
Yeah.
What is inevitable is that there will be some time in the future where linear becomes defunct, where we turn off the linear TV channels that we have become so used to. Mm. Why? Because audiences are shifting. They have already shifted, many of them, to digital spaces, social media spaces to access their content.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a key reason why we've seen some of the announcements made by other networks in recent weeks. Because of the decline in audience using linear channels and the lack of or limited commercial funding that now attracts and brings. So it is inevitable, and that is why the shift to digital investment for Whakaata Māori is so important.
Yep. And one of the other reasons why it's important, Ngātapa, as we said, you are down in Wellington at the moment at the Wellington Kapahaka regionals. The numbers you must be getting from Kapa, by the way, these are the regionals, right? So there's a lot of regions, lots of kapahaka within those regions. This isn't Te Matatini, the national festival that will be held next year. This is the regionals. But the numbers of eyeballs you get watching the regionals, they're huge, aren't they, Ngātapa?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just beautiful to see all our Māori faces out there and to listen to all the kaupapa that are going around on the stages as well. So, I mean, currently we've got Te Tai Tokero happening as well. And then we've got all our rangatahi up in Auckland with the Polyfest. So there's lots of eyeballs on kapahaka this weekend. There's plenty happening for everybody to view.
Yeah, and I think a measure of success, Ngātapa, I hope you don't mind me saying this, is when people start complaining about not getting a camera shot on their niece or moko. Why? Because people are watching, right? So I think that's a measure of success.
They're very passionate, our aunties, and
they're passionate. They're commenting on the Māori television. They're watching on Māori Plus and commenting on the Whakaata Māori Facebook page. And on their own whānau page going, did you see so-and-so? I didn't like it. Yeah, exactly. So that brings pressure with it. But it also says that people, and in particular Māori, we want to see ourselves. We love seeing our whānau being celebrated, our achievements, our successes being promoted and talked about. And kapahaka is a clear example of that, Ngātapa.
Our culture is alive. It's alive and well. And it's really beautiful to see everybody embracing it, and it's awesome that we can actually be there, part of it, to film it and to show, everybody ahakoa Māori mai Pākehā mai, just to show and broadcast our culture, our reo.
Can I ask a question, Ngātapa? Why are you still at Whakaata Māori? I mean, I know you got into hospitality in a big way. I may have frequented one of those places, actually, very irregularly. But why are you back at Whakaata Māori now?
I remember when I started way back, and I think quite a lot of us do, right? Ngā reo irirani. Aotearoa Television was also around back then. It was a place where my reo Māori mattered, is why I started, and still is to this day. And when we talk to our tamariki and say, ako hia tō reo, like this is the taonga and you can take it anywhere, is what we always say and what I try and embed in iwaku nei tamariki as well. But I guess because I love storytelling is basically what it is. It could be in music, it could be awhakaari nei, it could be there, but passionate also about bringing more rangatahi and training and building the capacity and the capabilities within Māori ma.
I forgot it.
And I love the people. I mean, it's fun, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Didn't you take over from Shane when he left Rio Mai and went back up to Auckland?
Maybe, yes,
I don't know if that's right, Shane, but I remember I think the timing was close, wasn't it, Shane?
Yeah, I'm having to scratch my head there. I'm not sure, but it's a very small world, as we know.
It's a long time ago. Given the challenges of the role, Shane, and it was recently announced last year that you were retained again by Whakaata Māori for another term as CEO, and given how hard media the tough nature of the media landscape at the moment, and in particular the inequitable challenges you face with resource for funding Māori content and moving into a new digital world, why are you still the CEO of Whakaata Māori?
It's a privileged role, Jules, really is. And only a couple of weeks ago we had Whitburn partners here, so other Indigenous media organisations from around the world came to celebrate our 20th anniversary, but also to attend our Hawaikirangi conference that you helped facilitate as well. And, you know, we were all reminded about why we do what we do and the absolute privilege we have in doing what we do. But when I can go to work every day and be myself unapologetically, and to speak my language, to not have to explain why we may sound like that or do things like this, you know, I feel very proud to be part of the team, and we have a great team. You know, I said earlier, the success, one of the key contributors to our success has been the people that have come and worked and supported Whakaata Māori over its past 20 years. And I was just listening to Ngātapa there talking about, you know, coming and going. And we have the saying at Whakaata Māori, we have this revolving door, right? There are people that come, they learn, they develop, and then they go off. And, you know, we send them off with pride, knowing that they have acquired some new skills, acquired some new experiences, and they'll go off and do the same thing elsewhere. But we always say, hoki mai, the door is always open. Come back and support Whakaata Māori. And so many do, you know, so many do, and so many will come back to Whakaata Māori, I'm sure. But that is the beauty of working for a kaupapa that is so much more than a workplace, so much more than an employer, but actually the opportunity to be yourself as Māori, and what better to be able to share and tell our stories in our language with the world.
Yes, some of us have benefited from the revolving door of Whakaata Māori and have found ourselves back in there, and many have said that's questionable. But are appreciative of the fact that the door is so still open. Ngātapa, what do you think, because as I said, we're under a week away from the exact 20th anniversary date of the 28th of March. What will be the thing that will impress itself upon you the most at that time when you think back all those years ago to flicking the switch, to being at that launch, to being a kaimahi of Whakaata Māori those years ago?
It would be probably all of those that aren't here to share the day with us. There's so many of them, and we have them all hanging on our wall at Mahi, at Whakaata Māori. You've got Jason Rameka there. Who else have we got on our wall there, Shane? We've got Raukapa.
Anzac. Te Kauhoi Anzac.
Patagao.
Te Kauhoi, yeah. Yeah, so rātou mai.
I remember King Ihaka, what we're talking about. He was our kaumātua for a little while there, Ngātapa. Well, no, actually, he was in commissioning, I think, but he became the kaumātua. And then Charles Berriman, he took over. But King Ihaka, we were sitting in there one time with, I think it was Waingata Ricky Gage and a couple of others. And he said, oh, boy, you do our mihi. And I said, oh, kapai. So I got up and tried to be loquacious, Shane, as you can understand. Some of us haven't lost that innate ability to be loquacious. But anyway, got up and I tried to, hearken upon the gods of Māoridom to bless us on this day, and got halfway through. And Kingy said, yeah, ka nui tēnā, we've got to get this thing done before Christmas. Let's get into business. Just a different way of working, which wouldn't work in any other organisation, a uniquely Māori way of conducting business, I think is, the words that I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I think if I can just use an example, we recently welcomed one of our new senior leaders to Whakaata Māori, and I was talking to her brother, who actually was one of the speakers, and he said that they both were reflecting on the welcome that they received at another organisation, and it was completely different. It was completely different. Now, that was not to disregard the first welcome that they received, but I suppose it just really supports that sentiment about Whakaata Māori being Māori and breathing, walking, talking Māori in everything, well, we try to, in everything that we do. And that's special. That's special. Because it's not just about projecting our language, promoting our language on screen. It's actually ensuring that we're doing that behind the screen as well. And that is something that we've been working really hard at too.
It reflects that kōrero from Kingi to Heitia. Just be Māori.
Yeah.
Just be Māori.
Yeah.
We've got a few comments in. I'll read a couple. You're going to like one in particular. I remember when everyone got mad when Māori TV, Whakaata Māori, got the rights for the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, I remember that too. Thank you. I don't know who that's from, but thank you, because I think that talks about the history of Whakaata Māori. It was almost like the national broadcaster at one stage, which it wasn't set out to do. I think people would say that now it's very clear about what it's about, but at one stage it became perceived to be the national broadcaster. Another comment. Oh, question. What's a linear channel? Do you mean analog? Yeah, I guess we're talking about an analog service. Yep. Another. Oh, here we go. We get these comments, so brace yourself, Shane. I support the removal of the $50 million to not go into Māori language. This is a minority race that Winston Peters is correct in his description of their Māori attitude and arrogant attitude to others. So let me just say to you, right, and I get this a lot on this show. You obviously haven't listened to the interview. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is the willful ignorance to what we've been talking about today in terms of the retention, not only retention, the reinvigoration and the promotion and normalisation of Te Reo Māori is actually a taonga for all New Zealanders, not just for Māori. So to whoever that is, and it doesn't have a name, maybe go and learn something, eh? Just for once, just go and learn something. Okay, that's my kofo. Right, let's go. Let's go back into questions. So Ngā Tapa, you're in Wellington at the moment. What are your long-term aspirations for Whakaata Māori, given your long history with the organisation at Te Tuahine?
To be absolutely kicked out of this tudu that I sit on at the moment. And be replaced by much younger and talented people who can take this kaupapa and ride with it. Kia kore oti, yeah.
Why? Why do you want to be kicked out? Why is someone younger?
Oh, I think it's beautiful to be able to have open whakaaro and to have them take ownership of tēnei kaupapa, because it, as we've said, it doesn't truly belong to us. It belongs to everybody. And kaya rātou katoa nā whakaaro. There's technology that just keeps creeping up on us. I can barely get myself on social media, let alone having to think about all the flash that's coming around. So, yeah.
Tēnā koe. Before I, Shane, just a couple of more comments. They're all coming in now. Big thanks to Whakaata Māori for the Anzac work they have done. I'm an Aussie living in Aotearoa, and this service, Whakaata Māori, has been invaluable to my acclimatisation. Tēnā koe, e hoa? Tēnā koe. And kia ora, well done for putting that idiot in their place. Okay, well, we've got some kaitautoko out there as well. Shane, I mean, Māori Television's had an interesting history with CEOs. You're in your second term, and a lot rests on your shoulders.
Don't jinx me now, Jules. Don't jinx me.
No. But a lot of this rests on your shoulders, you know. It's big mahi. So where do you see the organisation, 4 years' time, 5 years' time?
I'm still reflecting on some of the comments that you shared earlier, Anzac Day being one of them. The reality is what I think Whakaata Māori has been able to do throughout its history is to, and I hate to use the word, but mainstream a lot of what we see now. So if you think about Anzac Day, and that was something that Whakaata Māori picked up and has done extremely well over a number of years in promoting, in telling our stories about Anzac. Now, that's not just about Māori, that's about all New Zealanders. It's about our shared and collective history. And I think we've done that really well. And many more networks have joined the campaign, if you like, to tell our Anzac stories. And when you think about the shift that has occurred too, in terms of the value and now also the use of Māori language, Māori stories, Māori culture across media. Now, that's not to say that Whakaata Māori's been the only contributor to that, but we've certainly been one of the key ones. But, 20 years ago, it was very rare to hear Māori language being used by media across our media platforms. Now, some may still be opposed to that, but actually it's a great thing, it's a good thing. This is our Indigenous language. And, you know, the country has really shifted. But there's still work to do. So coming back to your question, I believe there is always going to be a place for a platform in which we use to share our Indigenous language, our Indigenous stories, our Indigenous perspectives. It's not just for Māori, but it's actually for everyone. And, you know, surely that can create a much better place for us all. And so I see a bright future, not just for Whakaata Māori, but for Māori language, for Māori media, and for Māori storytellers, because there are still so many more stories to be told and so many more experiences to be shared and created. And we use our digital platforms, we use the medium of media to be able to share that so that everyone can appreciate it and enjoy it.
Tēnā koe hoa. I'm going to make an executive decision, which is ironic given the CEO of Whakaata Māori sitting across from me. We were going to play a song, but I actually think we'll go to the Pips. Is that okay? He gets the thumbs up from Tamamuru. Oh, see Selwyn Muru's son sitting here. You know, this is awesome, eh? Okay, so we've got some more comments coming in. And the first one, Julian, can you ask Ngātapa to give us 1 minute of a song before you go to the Pips? There you go, Ngātapa. I'll leave that... I'll leave that with you. Another one. I watched Whakaata Māori for the general interest films ETC. It has less ads. I like the fact that Whakaata Māori doesn't get too picky with Pākehā who try and contribute to the conversations. Accent's not perfect, but you know, we receive praise for trying. Tēnā koe hoa. We need to consider the negative impacts of social media, though, and I think this is in terms of media and in the way in which we broadcast. Tēnā koe hoa I tō whakaaro. Here's another one. This middle-aged, middle-class Pākehā loves your TV channel, our TV channel, I should say, Whakaata Māori, and has done since inception. Carry on. I hope the haters are a minority. That's from Anne and Kirikiriroa.
Kia ora, Anne.
Our programs from Whakaata Māori are far better, more interesting, and you're exposed to the language so often, and I pick up quite a lot of Māori language. That's from Alan. Kia ora, Alan. Another one here. I'm an old whitey who really likes Whakaata Māori, so long may it continue. I've also learnt a lot of reo. I like the movies, the foreign movies, Australian and New Zealand movies, of course. Love Moana Maniapoto's program, Te Ao with Moana, ka pai. Her interview of the right-wing politicians was excellent, for example. And that's from Lynn. Kia ora, Lynn. Another one, please keep up the fab reo mahi. Tēnā koe hoa. And another one, I relate to the spiritual values of Māori, respect for the land and importance of clean water. Love Whakaata Māori. Thank you. And this one from Leslie, very interesting interview with Whakaata Māori. It's excellence. Congratulations. Kia kaha to all. Gee, I think that's reflective. A lot of those comments are from Pākehā, Shane. They're not from Māori.
And I do want to just take the opportunity, because I've spoken a lot about people in terms of the workforce that has contributed to Whakaata Māori over the years. But the real important people are those people that give us the privilege of telling their stories. Our people, our communities, Māori and non-Māori, right throughout Aotearoa and across the globe. We are very honoured and privileged to be able to do that every day. Every day. It's something we love to do. It's something that we enjoy doing. But being given the honour and privilege of being able to tell or share someone else's story is humbling. And so while we celebrate Whakaata Māori in 20 years, I just want to thank our people, our communities that have supported and continue to support Whakaata Māori, whether that be watching our content, whether that be sharing content or telling their stories or enabling us to tell their stories. Tēnā koutou. Thank you.
Tēnā koe. Before we conclude, I'll go back to Ngātapa to say some final words, which she may want to sing. But before I do that, just 2 more comments before we conclude. This one from Kristen. This thought makes me so sad. As a first-generation Polish New Zealander, my one and only wee Mapuna is the most beautiful little girl of Ngāpuhi. I can't understand the negative comments. Kia kaha. That's from Kristen. And one final comment. I'm a Pākehā 40-year-old male. I love Whakaata Māori. It by far has the best programs. I love hearing the language being spoken. Moana is appointment viewing. Love seeing te reo flourishing in our beautiful country. Mahea mai tēnā hei tau pukiaki a tātou kōrero. Ngātapa, you have our final words. If you would like to sing them, ka pai.
Yeah. Not a rukutukutukau. Just excellent. It's beautiful listening ki wera o nā whakaro. Nā whakaro mō Whakaata Māori. Kare ko atu, ka nui te mihi atu ki te hunga e ka hatau toko ana i a tātou. E ka hatau toko ana i tēnei kaupapa hei aha kia rere tō tātou reo Māori. Aha kua Māori mai Pākehā mai tēnei te mihi atu ki a koutou.
Tēnā kōrua, tēnā koe Shane.
Tēnā koe, Jules.
Tēnā koe. Tēnā koe ngatapa, doing the mahi and doing an interview at the same stage. We'll let you get back. I've got one from my mate Mike, who's in Canterbury. Tautoko e hoa, love the interview. Ngā manaahitanga Mike, shame about the Crusaders. Two final comments. Julian, so grateful for Whakaata Māori, could agree to have a TV at home only because of it, so I could take te reo lessons. I've learned so much more. Lots of fantastic docos and programs. Respect for everyone. Kia kaha. Julian, white middle class, 71-year-old, fabulous channel. Moana has the best political interviews. That hurts me as well as also excites me. Tēnā koe hoa. And Julian, tēnā koe, 61 Pākehā wahine here. Go te reo on RNZ and tēnā pai Whakaata Māori. Leanne, tēnā koutou katoa. That is us. Ko te toka iaki, hae toka whitianga rā, te toka i Māpuna. Ko tāua ki te ai, ko te ripo kau. Te hewa mauri ora, kia tātou katoa. Whakaata Māori, hari huri tau.